Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of biology. And of course today, especially, I'm going to be looking at sex determination, and sex-linked characters. All right, so we're going to be looking at sex determination as well as sex-linked characters in this class. Everything that has to do with sex determination will be completely demystified for you. All right, do not forget that these tutorials, this episode, they are brought to you by the O3 Schools application. We have the app for WAEC, we have the app for JAMB. All right, and these two applications can serve the purpose of any O-level exam: JAMB, WAEC, NECO, GCE, NABTEB, okay, and the like exams. All right, so please, if you have any of the apps and you follow our tutorials, okay, you are good to go. That's why our lectures are very, very elaborate, if you notice, all right? We make it very, very elaborate so that you will have the gist, okay? Everything that you need to succeed. All right, so we'll talk about the features of the app. Let's just see a past question from the JAMB app. This is a 1997 question. We use the question search feature, 1997, number 45. It says here that, which of the following characters is not sex-linked? Which of the following characters is not sex-linked? A says river blindness, B says baldness, C says hemophilia, D says color blindness. I've talked about river blindness before. Now I want to talk about humans and environment, right? So obviously you will know the answer here. Okay, but that's by the way. Okay, we'll come back to this question and many more questions at the end of the class. So please ensure you stay till the end. Do not go anywhere. All right. Download the application, okay, from Play Store, activate it, right, and start practicing your way to success. O3 Schools is your way to school. If you want to enter school, just join O3 Schools, okay? The app has everything you need to succeed in your exam. All the past questions for all the subjects are in the application. Apart from that, all right, we also have some wonderful features like the question search feature. Just like we will search for this question, we just went to question search on the app, selected biology as a subject, then search for sex determination or search for sex-linked characters, okay? Question that JAMB has set, okay, or WAEC has set, or any O-level exam, okay? Any question that they said that relate to what these two keywords, okay, will come out for you to answer from the beginning to the end. That's why after the end of this class, you go and search for more questions. Answer them so that you understand how an examiner will ask you questions. Also, there's a classroom feature on the application. The classroom has the latest JAMB syllabus, okay? It has what lecture notes structured according to the JAMB syllabus, okay? There's also what video lessons, okay? And apart from that, there's also the wonderful study plan. You can create a study plan, and what the study plan does is to use the syllabus, use the lecture notes to create a timetable for you so that you can easily finish the syllabus in time. Many of you prepare for your exam without finishing your syllabus. That is a big no, all right? It makes you to underperform, okay? If you want to perform optimally, ensure you finish your syllabus for all your 4 subjects. And this is what the study plan will help you achieve if you follow it to the letter. All right, also, there's also the mock challenge on the application. On both the JAMB and the WAEC application on Saturday. Every Saturday, all students writing JAMB and or WAEC come to our applications, all right, to compete with each other. All right, it's like a normal JAMB or WAEC exam. Okay, you compete to win prizes. But the main reason why we conduct that challenge is because we know that competitiveness has its own way of bringing some sparks, okay, in you. All right, so please ensure you join the challenge. Okay, you get it to JAMB past questions or WAEC past questions on the WAEC app. Get it to JAMB or WAEC likely exam question. You familiarize yourself with how examiners, both JAMB and WAEC, okay, how they set question, how they think. You put yourself in place of what them, and then we'll be able to see how they reason so that you're not caught off guard. All right, also at the end of all of the challenge, your results will be released, okay? So please, it will help to eliminate what result fear. JAMB result don't come out. You will not be shaking. If you are participating in all our challenges, there's no way you are going to face any of that. All right, so please download the application, okay? There's an activation fee. To activate your app, message this number on WhatsApp, 0912151425, 515246 rather, okay? Message the number on WhatsApp or click on activate on the app. At the top, you find where the road buy activation key. You'll see the options. All right, click on the buy activation key. You see the options for activation by transfer. You can use your card to pay online. All right, using your card means that you don't even need our input. It will automatically be activated for you. All right, but if you are transferring to the account number, send the receipt of the payment to this number on WhatsApp. All right, so the price on the app at the time you downloaded it is the right price. Okay, so please do not say you have an app in 1991. Okay, it was 500 naira at that time. Okay, now see another price. That's your problem, right? Okay, so ensure you get the app. It will help you grading. If it will not help you, I will not be telling you. Okay, so now sex determination. You have watched Nigerian movies where they say, the woman is giving birth to only girls. Girls, first pikin, girl, second pikin, girl, third pikin, girl, fourth pikin, girl, 4 children, girls, you know, born boy for me, okay? You'll be hearing the men telling the ladies, okay? You now go and meet the mother in the village and say, find me another woman that will give me a male child, all right? They'll be blaming the ladies, okay, for the inability to give birth to what? To a male child. Okay, it's a very, very, very wrong thing. It's very, very wrong because the sex of a child or of a baby is not determined by the mother. Okay, so it is what the man puts in there, okay, through his sperm, all right, that the woman what will bring out. All of this will be unraveled in this class. You understand better, all right, how sex is determined. All right, if a baby is male or a baby is female, how they what arrived at what at that. So then, what is sex determination? All right, so we define sex determination as a biological what process. All right, it says sex determination. Sex determination is the biological process that decides whether a baby will be a male or a female at the time of fertilization. Okay, so this is what we define as what as sex determination. It is a biological process that decides whether the sex of a baby, whether the sex of a child, or whether a baby will be a male or a female at the time of fertilization. This is when sex is determined at the time. Take note of this. This is an exam question. Okay, you see it in your past question, you stumble upon it. Okay, when is the sex of a baby determined? Okay, it is at the time of what? Of fertilization, when the egg, okay, and what? And the sperm, okay, fuse to form what? The zygote, okay? That is what? When fertilization happens, all right? And it is at this time, okay, that the sex of a child is what is determined. That is why we define sex determination as a biological process by which the sex of a baby, okay, is determined, all right? And it's usually what? At the time of what? Of fertilization. Also, it is important to know that it depends, okay, on the what? On the combination of what? Of sex chromosomes that have been contributed either by the father or what? The mother, all right? It depends on the combination of sex chromosomes, okay, that have been contributed either by the father's sperm, okay, or what the mother's what? Egg, okay, at what? The time of what? Of fertilization, all right? So the father will what? Will release sperm, the mother will release an egg, okay? They will fuse, okay, to form the zygote, okay? So it depends on the combination of the sex chromosomes, all right, that what? Has been contributed by either the father's sperm and what? And the mother's egg, okay? That's what determines what? The sex of what? Of a child, okay? If this is very, very clear, this means that what? We can proceed, all right? And obviously, we know that what? That a child can either be what? A male, or what? A female. All right. I know that you will say, what about hermaphrodite that have both male and female what? Organs? Okay. Those ones are as a result of what? Of disorder. Okay. It's a disorder. We may touch on it, but it's out of what? The scope of this class. All right. So we're not told to discuss this in either your WAEC or your JAMB. All right. But that is that for that. So now, a child may either be what? A male or what? A female. And this is what is determined by the genetic material by the genetic material, all right, that is what? That is present, okay? A child or what? An individual can either be a male or female, and that's what depends on what? On the genetic material that is what? Present, all right? Now, in the previous classes, we discussed about what? Chromosomes, isn't it? Chromosomes, all right? We talked about what? DNA, all right? We say what DNA is. DNA is what? It's a double helical what structure, okay? This is what the DNA is, a double helical what structure. All right, now sometimes this DNA, all right, undergoes what we call what? It condenses. The DNA condenses or undergoes what we call coiling. All right, so when this DNA, okay, that you are seeing here now, once it undergoes what? This coiling, all right, or what? Condensation, it condenses, like let's say the presser, okay, instead of like this now, it will now look like something like this now, okay, all right, so this one is more condensed than what? Than this, okay, this is more condensed than this. When the DNA undergoes what? This coiling, okay, when it condenses, it first forms what we call what? Chromatin, okay, chromatin, okay, so when it undergoes coiling, it first forms what we know as what? As chromatin. All right, now after the chromatin also undergoes what? Further coiling, okay, this chromatin also undergoes what? Further coiling. All right, once it undergoes further coiling, it now forms what? Okay, a rod-like what? Structure, okay, it forms what? A rod-like structure, okay, it is rod-like, okay, rod-like structure that is known as what? Chromosome. All right, so let me go over that again. DNA is a double helical structure. All right, once it what? Undergoes what? Coiling, it forms what? A thread-like structure. This one is thread-like. It forms a thread-like structure that is known as what? Chromatin. And then when this chromatin undergoes further coiling, okay, it now forms a rod-like structure that is known as what? Chromosome. Okay, and over again, over the course of this class, I've told you that what? Humans have how many number of chromosomes? Humans have what? 46 chromosomes. All right, so every individual has what? 46 chromosomes, or we can say, instead of 46 chromosomes, we can say 23 what? Pairs of what? Of chromosomes. All right, that means an individual has what? 46 chromosomes, or has what? 23 pairs of what? Of chromosomes. Now, the first 22 pairs, okay, out of these 23 pairs, the first 22 pairs, the first 22 pairs, they are similar in structure, and they are also similar in function in both males and females. Okay, so the first 22 pairs of chromosome, okay, they are similar in both structure, and they are similar in what? In function in both males and females. All right, these first 22 pairs of chromosome are the ones we refer to as the autosomes. Okay, we'll refer to them as what? As autosomes. You must take note of that. Okay, so they are similar in structure and function in both the males and the females, and together, all of them, they are known as what? As what? The autosomes. All right. Now that will now leave, since we have 23 pairs. Okay, 22 pairs are known as autosomes. That means there will be what? One pair. Okay, that is left, isn't it? Now that last pair, okay, the last pair of what? Of chromosome, okay, are the ones, all right, that are what? That's known as what? As the sex chromosomes. We refer to them as what? As the sex chromosomes. The last pair, okay, this is the last pair. The last pair, okay, of chromosomes are the ones that we refer to as what? As the sex chromosomes. So the 23rd pair, okay, is the one that is different. Okay, the first 22, they are what? They are similar in structure and function in both males and females. It is this 23rd pair, or the last pair, that is what? That is different. Okay, all right, that is now known as the sex chromosomes, or we call them the allosomes. Okay, so the first 22 that are called autosomes, then the last pair or the 23rd pair is known as what? As the allosomes. And sex chromosomes is what differentiates an individual as a boy or what? Or girl, or as a male or female. It is these sex chromosomes that differentiate an individual as a male or what? Female. Now, in the case of a boy, all right, in the case of a boy, all right, we have what? XY pair. Okay, in the case of a boy, we have the XY pair. All right, so in the case of a boy, all right, the pair, we have that last pair, okay, of allosome, all right, in the boy is what? It's XY pair, okay, X and Y. This means that what? That a male, all right, a male we have what? We have 44 chromosomes, then plus the last pair, which is what? Now XY, making it what? 46 chromosomes in total, okay? Or you can say 22 pairs of chromosomes, then plus what? Plus XY what? Pair. All right, making it the 23rd what? Pair. All right, now why for a girl or a female? All right, we're going to have what? An XX pair. All right, this means that what? A girl we have what? 44 chromosomes, then plus what now? XX, okay? Or you say 22 pairs of chromosomes, then plus what? Plus XX. Either way you put it is very, very what? Correct, all right? So that is what? The chromosomes in the what? In the male, and what in the female? In the male, it will be an X, letter X and letter Y. All right, that's what differentiates what? A boy from a girl. Okay, why a boy is XY, that last pair of chromosomes called the what? The allosomes or the sex chromosomes. All right, the boy will have XY, the girl will have what? XX. Okay, so that's what differentiates a boy from a girl. Now, during sexual reproduction, we see that there's something we call what? Formation of gametes. Okay, during sexual reproduction, gametes are what? Are formed, or formation of gametes happens in the females. Okay, they will produce what? What we call what? Eggs. Okay, in the what? In the female, they'll produce what? An egg. Okay, either the left ovary or the right ovary will release an egg each month. All right, so the females or the girl will produce an egg, while what? The males will produce what? Sperm. Okay, so this is what happens during what? Gamete formation. Right, the male produces what? Sperm, the female produce egg, and we know that what? That reproductive cells. We know that what? Reproductive cells, or the ones we call what? Sex cells, they will only have what? Half the number of what? Of chromosomes. Okay, when we discuss meiosis, okay, and mitosis, all right, we discuss that what? Extensively. So if I've not watched that class, you have no business here. Go and watch and come back. Okay, we know that what? Reproductive cells, or the ones we call sex cells, they have what? Half the what? The number of chromosomes, okay, that our somatic cells what have. All right, so that means if an individual, okay, that has what? 46 chromosomes, all right, is reproductive cell, okay, or the sex cell, we have what? Only half of it. We have 46 chromosomes. All right, the sex cells, we have half of these. That's what they will have. All right, so that means they'll have what? 23 what? Chromosomes. I'm not saying 23 pairs of chromosomes. No. Okay, they will have number 23 chromosomes. Okay, that's what the sex cells we have. All right, that means that now for a boy, for example, okay, we have what now? 23 chromosomes. Okay, this is what the boy what we have. All right, then of course the girl also have what? 23 what? Chromosomes. Girl, okay, 23. This one is what? The sperm. Okay, then girl also have what? 23 chromosomes. Okay, this one's also what? The egg. Okay, so during fertilization, all right, so what will happen is what? Fertilization will happen. fertilization, what will happen, then what? A zygote will be formed. This is called what? A zygote that will be formed. This zygote will now have what? This 23 chromosome plus what? This 23 chromosome to now have what? 46 what? Chromosomes. All right. So now the zygote will now have what? 46 what? Chromosomes. All right. Now during what? Gamete formation. All right. The father what? We contribute, the mother will contribute, okay? So they contribute half the number of chromosomes that they have, okay? So because it's what? It's a reproductive cell, because it's a sex cell, it will have half the number of what? Of chromosomes that our somatic cells have, all right? So that's why the boy is having 23 chromosomes, okay? While the girl is having 23 chromosomes. And at the end again, you see that they come together. In the offspring, okay, in the zygote that is formed, they will now have a total of 23 plus 23. Okay, we will now have what? 46 chromosomes. This means that what? Like for the sperm now, okay, some of the sperms, okay, some of the sperm will have 22 plus X chromosome, while some will have what? 22 plus what? Y chromosome. This is what will happen, all right? So the boy has what? 23 chromosomes. The sperm has 23 chromosomes, all right? Then what? The egg has 23 chromosomes. It means that what? That the boy, since the boy has what? The XY pair, it means that what? The sperms, okay, some may carry what? 22 plus X, while some may carry what? 22 plus what? Plus Y, all right? Now, why for the girl, okay? Because the girl has what? An XX pair, isn't it? That means that what? The girl, okay, the egg will have what? Like 22 plus what? Plus X, okay? The only option is what? 22 plus what? Plus X, because what? They have what? The XX pair. Why some of the sperms are carrying X and Y? Because what? The boys, okay, they have what? The XY pair. I hope that is clear. Now, the ladies, okay, or the egg will have what? 22 plus what? Plus X. That is the only option, all right? So the females contribute only what? 22 plus X, while the what? The male or the sperm, okay, in the sperm will find what? 22 plus X or 22 plus Y. Now, during the process of fusion, okay, during the process of fusion, you see that what? Now the egg and the sperm, what? They will fuse together, okay? Now, depending on which of these is fusing with what? With the one of what? Of the girl, okay? Is what to determine the sex of what? Of the child, okay? If 22 plus X is fusing with what? With 22 plus X is fusing with what? 22 plus what? X from the girl, okay? From the egg, okay? This one from the sperm, 22 plus X. From the egg, 22 plus X. X plus S is what? Sorry, not X plus S. XS will give what? XS, isn't it? That means that this person, this individual will be what? A female. All right? So now, if 22 plus Y is fusing with what? 22 plus X plus what? Plus X from what? From the female, okay? Or from the what? From the egg now. What I'm going to have? I'm going to have XY. This one will be what? A male or a boy. All right? So ultimately, what determines the sex, okay? Whether it will be a male or a female, the females, they contribute to it. The egg contributes to it, all right? Because what? The sperm can only bring what? Either X or Y at a time, all right? So they cannot, the male cannot bring what? X, Y together. So it's fusion that happens. Understand that they must fuse together, okay? So the sperm that fuses with what? With that of what? Of the egg, okay, is what to contribute, what to determine the sex of the child. If 22 plus Y, if the X pair, okay, fuses with what? With the X from the female, we're not going to have a female, all right? We're going to have a girl. If you have what? The Y fused with the X, we're going to have what? A male. So that is what ultimately determines the sex of what? Of the child. This means that there will always be 50% chance that what? That the child will be a boy or a girl. This one is an exam question, okay? All right? There will always be what? A 50% chance, okay, that's what? It is going to be what? A boy or a girl, all right? So that's what the probability of what? Of a parent, okay? Of two parents, okay? Merging to give what? A boy, okay? You know that is 50%. What the probability for a child to be a girl is also 50%, because it depends. If the sperm brings what? The Y, okay? The girl, the egg can only bring X, okay, because it's XS pair. Okay, it brings X, okay, it will be what? A boy. If this one bring X, this one bring X, okay, SS, it will be a girl, okay. So for it to be what, there are only two options. They can only be what? A girl or what? A boy. All right. So they ask you the probability of what? Of the child being what? A girl. It will be 50%. Okay. Because what? Obviously, as we have seen. Then, of course, if they say what probability of being a boy, it will still be 50%. All right. So those are the only two options. Either be a boy or a girl. Now, depending on what? On the what? On the male, okay, on the sperm, okay, that is being released. Okay. So if the X is released by the male, all right, the child will be a girl automatically. If the Y is released by the sperm, okay, it will be a boy. So sex of the young one is determined by the sperm. The sex of a young one is determined by the what? By the sperm, okay, or what? The sex chromosome. Okay, that is what? In the sperm. All right. So the sex of a young one is determined by the what? By the sperm, or what? The sex chromosome that are present in the young one. So all those movies that will say, this woman, you are a wench. You have not given me a male child. Okay, girl, first one girl, second one girl, third one girl, fourth one girl. Okay, it is not the woman's fault. It is the man's fault. If the man release what? The sex chromosome released by the sperm, okay, is Y, okay. The lady has no choice in the matter. She must give birth to a boy, okay. But if it is X that is released by the man, the woman has no choice in the matter also. The woman only has X. So now only X the woman fit bring on the table. Okay, now you go fit bring Y. You will be the man. You will be the otokunadu, akachantalaka one. Okay, it is you that can bring the Y that will merge with the X to now give you the boy that you are looking for. Okay, so stop blaming the woman that she's the reason why you don't have a male child. You have 4 female children. Okay, it is you that is the problem, not the woman. It's not actually a problem. Okay, so if it is X that comes, girl comes from you. If the S that comes from the man, it is the girl that the woman will give birth to. It's Y that comes. It is what? What's it called now? A male that will be given birth by the woman. It's as simple as ABC. Okay, so now let's just quickly summarize this. Meiosis makes egg and sperm cells with half the number of chromosomes. Okay. We know that what meiosis makes egg. All right, so we have discovered that many of you do not support our endeavor. All right, you do not like our video, you do not subscribe to our channel, you do not share the link of the video to your friends and loved ones. If you watch from Facebook, you do not follow us. If you watch from from TikTok, you do not like the video, you do not follow us on TikTok. Okay, wickedness up and down, that is very, very wrong. All of these efforts, okay, they are brought to you for free. All right, so please, the least you can do is to like this video. Okay, liking the video will make this video to be suggested to other students who are preparing for this exam with you. Okay, and if you are succeeding, they will succeed also. Okay, so please ensure you like the video, ensure you subscribe to this channel. All right, if you are watching from YouTube, subscribe, click on that red subscribe button. If you are watching from Facebook, click on the follow button, follow us. If you are watching from TikTok, follow us, like our videos. Okay, share it. That is the only way you can say thank you for all of these things we are doing. Okay, we are not asking for too much. All right, if we have dropped our account number several times, that if you want to support our work, say no student has ever put 1 naira in that account. Okay, so we'll stop doing it. Okay, because we know that what we are doing was a free job. All right, so please ensure that we take advantage of all of this. Okay, this is the way you can support us. Tell people about our application. You are using the app, you know how it helped you. Why should somebody else from your own that knows you not pass this exam because you know us? It's very, very bad. You do not tell people about us, okay? Tell your friends, tell your loved ones, okay? Your classmates. Share the link of the video to your friends and loved ones. So we said that meiosis makes what? Meiosis makes egg and sperm cells with what? Half the what? The number of what? Of chromosomes. Okay, we already what said that. Okay, that's why the sperm will have 23 chromosomes, the egg will have 23 what chromosomes. Okay, this happens what because of meiosis. So meiosis makes egg and sperm cells with half the number of chromosomes. So the egg always carries the X, okay? The X what cell, all right? While what the sperm, okay, carries what either the X or Y. All right. So now during fertilization, okay, if it's X and what X that fuses together, okay, we're going to have what a girl, okay, because we're going to have XS in that condition. All right. Then if it is X and what Y that fuses together, we're going to have a boy, okay, or XY, okay, in that what condition. All right. So this is just a summary of what we have been saying. So meiosis makes eggs and sperm cells, all right, with half the number of chromosomes, and the egg always carries what the X, while the sperm carries the X or Y. If the X fuses with the X, okay, X from the egg fuses with Y from what? Sorry, fuses with the X from what? From the sperm, I'm going to have what a girl. If the X from the, because woman only X didn't bring, okay, enough to bring another thing. So if the egg brings what X, all right, then the sperm brings what Y, okay, a boy will be formed, all right. That's what the XY condition. So we also have what other systems, okay, apart from this XY system that we know that is seen in what in humans and mammals. Okay, all right, this is what's seen in humans and mammals, all right, this XY system. We also have another system known as well ZW system. Okay, so if it is what ZW is a female, if it's a ZZ, it is what? It is a male. Okay, this system, this ZW system is found in birds, okay, so we'll find them in what? In birds, we'll find them in what? In butterflies, okay? This is what ZW system. If ZW is a female, if ZZ is a male, okay? So please take note, not only the XY system that we have, we also have what the ZW system. We also have the haplodiploidy system, okay? Apart from this, we also have the haplodiploidy system. This one is seen in honeybees and ants, okay? We call it the haplodiploidy system. Okay, so in this system, okay, fertilized eggs, okay, is known as what? The females. It forms what? The females, while unfertilized eggs forms what? The males, okay? This one we call the haplodiploidy system, all right? You see this in what? In honeybees. Okay, so honeybees and ants, okay, they use this haplodiploidy system, okay. If it's formed from fertilized eggs, okay, it's a female that will be formed. If formed from an unfertilized egg, okay, a male will be formed, right? You see there in honeybees and ants. Then we also have what? Environmental, okay, the environmental system. Okay, this one talks about the fact that temperature affects sex. Okay, so whether to be a male or a female, okay, temperature usually what affects what this, all right? So this is called the environmental system. Environmental. Okay, this one you see it in tortoise. Okay, tortoise, you see them in crocodiles. All right, so this is where water is it tortoise? Okay, see them in tortoise. Okay, tortoise. Okay, turtles and what are crocodiles, all right? So this is what? Environmental, all right? So temperature affects sex. Examples, you see them what? In turtles, you see them in crocodiles. We also have what? Disorders of sex determination, right? All right, so during chromosome separation, sometimes mistakes happen, okay? Okay, and this leads to what? Disorders, okay? Some disorders, okay, in sex determination, okay. So during chromosome separation, okay, mistakes happens, okay? And this what leads to what? To some disorders. One of these disorders is what is Turner syndrome. Turner syndrome, okay? We call this what? XO, all right? XO, presented by what? By X and what? And an O, indicating that what? That the female, okay, has what? Only one X chromosome, okay? It's supposed to be XS, okay? But in this time, it's just what? Only one X chromosome, all right? So this is what? Turner syndrome, all right? Female with only one X chromosome, all right? So it leads to what? A disorder that we know and call as Turner syndrome. And in Turner syndrome, all right, we discovered that what? Most of them, they have a short stature, a very short stature. Some of them, they have broad chests. Girl, you get broad chest, okay? There will be delayed, okay, puberty. All right. Also, you see what's very little or no development of secondary sexual characters. Okay, like breast, get breast. Okay, webbed feet, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's what's known as what? As Turner syndrome. Okay, female with only one X chromosome. Then we also have Klinefelter syndrome. Okay, Klinefelter syndrome. Okay, this one is a male. Okay, we call this one XSY. Okay, a male with an extra X chromosome. All right, so it's known as what? As Klinefelter syndrome, XSY. Right, a male with an extra X chromosome. And in Klinefelter syndrome, okay, you see them with very, very long legs. Okay, there's a very they are usually very tall. They have a very tall stature. Okay, with what? With long legs. Okay, some of them who have have breasts. Okay, some of them develop breasts. They have less facial hairs. Okay, and then most importantly, infertility is not uncommon. Infertility, because they have a very small testes. Okay, they have what? Very, very small testes. They have reduced muscle strength. Okay, reduced muscle strength. Okay, and also they have just normal intelligence. Sometimes they also have they even have problem with learning. Okay, so they are just normal intelligence. Okay, they have what? Problem with what? With learning sometimes. Okay, all right. So that's what Klinefelter syndrome. These are what? Disorders. Okay, all right. Disorders. Okay, when the chromosome do not separate. Okay, properly. All right. You see some disorders such as what? Turner syndrome and the Klinefelter syndrome. So sex determination helps us in understanding inheritance and also reproduction. Okay, it gives us a better idea on understanding reproduction and also inheritance. All right, so now let us go to sex-linked characters. All right, please ensure you download the O3 Schools application. All right, it's your sure guide. Okay, it's your sure step to entering school. All right, all of your school problem. And we do not leave you after your JAMB. We continuously feed you with information about post-UTME, how to succeed, how to pass, all the forms. Okay, we keep you updated. All right, so it's a family. You are in the family. All right, that's why you're advised to follow us on all our social media platforms. All right, and join our Telegram group. All right, join our Telegram group where we'll keep you updated about recent happenings. So let us look at sex-linked characters. Okay, we've looked at sex determination. Let's look at sex-linked characters. So now we know that sex chromosomes, okay, that is either X and what? Or Y, okay, and what determines the sex of a baby, determines whether a baby will be a male or female. Now, it happens that sometimes, okay, we have 46 chromosomes, right? 46 chromosomes, okay? 44, okay, are autosomes. Okay, they are autosomes, while the remaining, how many now? 2, okay, are allosomes. or sex linked, okay, which has what this X and this Y. Now 22 pairs are autosomes, making it 44 chromosomes. Some are autosomes, okay, while some are what are allosomes. Now, sometimes it happens that some genes, 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 some genes are located, okay, on this allosomes, okay, on this sex chromosomes, okay, instead of on this autosomes. All right. So those genes that are located, all right, on this sex chromosomes are the ones that are known as what are sex-linked characters. Okay, so the traits that are controlled by the genes that are located on this sex chromosomes, on these sex chromosomes, all right, are the ones that are known as what are sex-linked characters. Should I go over that again? We have 23 pairs of chromosomes. The first 22, which are 44, are autosomes. Okay, there are genes that are located on these autosomes. All right. Now there are some genes that are located on this sex chromosomes, sex chromosomes, instead of on this normal chromosomes. Okay, some genes are located on these sex chromosomes. The traits that are controlled, the traits TRAITS, the traits that are controlled by these genes that are located on the sex chromosomes are the ones that we know as as sex-linked characters. Okay, let us put that in writing. All right, for writing, please write. So we said that sex-linked characters are traits controlled by genes present on the X or Y chromosomes. Okay, so that's what we call sex-linked characters. They are the traits that are controlled by the genes that are present in the sex chromosome or the X and Y chromosomes. So why is this important? Okay, this is important because the X chromosome is very large. It's large and has many genes. All right, it carries many genes. The S chromosome is large and carries many genes. While the Y chromosome, on the other hand, is small and carries very few genes. Okay, let me not say small, and carry very few genes. Okay, so the S chromosome is large and has many genes, while the Y chromosome is small and carries very few genes. So this means that most sex-linked traits, understand all of this. I'm taking it slowly so that you understand it. Most sex-linked traits are actually X-linked. Okay, this means that now we are talking about why this is important, why sex-linked characters are important. Okay, they are important because the X chromosome is very, very large and has many genes, while the Y is small and carries very few genes. Okay, and this is why it is important because most sex-linked traits are actually X-linked. Okay, they are actually X linked. Okay, because this X chromosomes carries more genetic information. All right, because it has many genes. Okay, that means that it carries more genetic information. All right, so most sex-linked traits, take note that most sex-linked traits are actually X-linked. They are mostly X-linked. All right, and it's because the X chromosome carries more genetic information, and because it has more genes and it is it's large. Okay, ordinarily it have more genetic information than the Y chromosome that has very few genes. Okay, and that is small. So now let me explain how this works in males and in females. Okay, so how does this work? Okay, how does this work? All right, how does this work? how this works in males and females. All right, so we have established initially that most sex-linked traits that they are X-linked. Okay, so now knowing how it works in males and females will give you a better idea of what that means. Okay, so now let us begin with the females. All right, so for the females, we know that the females, they have two X chromosomes. Okay, so that means XX. All right, they have two X chromosomes. All right, this means that a defective gene on one of these X, okay, a defective gene on one of the X can be covered up, okay, by the other one because they have two X chromosomes. If one, let's say this one is defective, let's say this one is defective, this one can cover up, okay, it can mask the effects, all right, of this one, so it will not show. But it's not as if it's not present or it's present, but because they have two X chromosomes, and we already said that most sex-linked traits, they are they are X-linked. Okay, they are X-linked. All right. So if a defective gene, okay, is on one of the X, this other gene, this normal one, can cover up for the effect of this one, so it will not show. All right. So that's why I think that females XS, they have two X chromosomes, and that a defective gene on one X can be covered up by a normal gene on the other X. Okay, this means that the females may just be carriers. They may just be carriers. They have it, or they have it, or it is present. Okay, there's a defective gene, but this one is covering up for this defective one. This normal gene, okay, all right, is covering up for this defective one. All right, so they will just be They will just be carriers. It will not show. Okay, they do, but they show. Okay, so that is that for the females. Since they have two X chromosomes, okay, they have two X chromosomes. A defective gene on one of the X, okay, can be covered up by a normal gene on the other X. So females may just be They may just be carriers. But now let us now see the males. Now the males have only one X chromosome. They have one X chromosome. So they don't have another X that will cover up for the effect of the defective one. If the X is defective, okay, it will just show directly. It will show completely. It will show once. All right, because they do not have another X to mark the effect, because they have XY. If this one is defective, since most sex-linked traits are X-linked, if this one is defective, they don't have another X that will cover up for the effect. All right, so that is that for that. Now for males, okay, they have XY. Okay, they have only one X chromosome. Have only one X chromosome. All right. Now, if a defective gene is on the X now. Okay, if there's a defective gene on the X, there is no backup. Okay, there's no backup, no another S to cover up for the effect. So there is no backup. All right, the trait shows immediately, shows directly. The trait shows directly. All right, so I've explained that. Okay, X, Y. If this one is defective, okay, it does not have another S, okay, to cover the effect. So it will just show directly. And this is why we say that males, they are most often affected, okay, by X-linked X-linked disorders. X-linked disorders. Okay, so males are more often affected. They are affected more than females. Okay, all right, when it comes to X-linked disorders, because they do not have another S to mask the effect, okay, to cover up. There's no backup. All right, it shows directly. All right, so males XY, they have only one X chromosome. If a defective gene is on the X, okay, there is no backup. The trait will show directly, and that is why males, okay, they are more affected by X-linked what? Disorders. Are we together? So now let's look at types of what? Of sex-linked characters, okay? Let's see the types of sex-linked characters that we have. All right, so please ensure you have downloaded the app or activate it and start practicing. You see many of these questions, all these things we're explaining now. At the end of the class, you see many questions on there. I will not answer them. You don't want to answer them, okay? All right, that's why I'm taking pain to explain and to teach you so that you understand. All right, so let's look at what types of what sex-linked characters. Types of sex-linked characters. All right, so we're looking at the types of what sex-linked what characters. Okay, so we have two types. One is what is the X-linked. They also have the Y-linked. Okay, so for the X-linked characters, X. Okay, number one, we have the X-linked characters. All right. Now, for the X-linked characters, what happens? It means that the gene is present on what? On the X. Okay, on the X what? Chromosome. Okay, gene is present on the X chromosome. All right. So that is what X-linked what character? The gene is present on the X chromosome. And examples, okay, of what of this is color blindness. Okay, so example of this disorder number one is what? Is color blindness. Okay, in color blindness, you cannot distinguish between red and green. Okay, inability, okay, to distinguish red and green. All right, they also have another one called hemophilia. Number two, hemophilia. Okay, this one is the inability of the blood to clot properly. All right, inability of blood to clot, C-L-O-T, properly. All right, you see some people, if they injure small, the way the amount of blood that they will lose. Blood go they rush like tap. You know go green stop. That's hemophilia. All right. So the inability of blood to clot properly, all right, is what is hemophilia. All right. So now we also have another one we call Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Okay, we'll call it what? The Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Okay, this one is the one we call the muscle weakness disease. Okay, your muscles will just be weak. Okay, we call it what? The muscle weakness what disease. All right, so this one they are what? X-linked characters. The gene is present on the X chromosomes. Okay, like we have color blindness, inability to distinguish red and green, hemophilia, inability of blood to clot properly, and Duchenne muscular dystrophy, muscle weakness what disease. Then also we also have Y-linked. Okay, we also have Y-linked what characters. Now, this one for Y-linked, that means that the gene is present on the Y chromosome. All right, so we have Y-linked characters, and this one the gene is present on the Y chromosome. And for this one, this Y-linked what characters, they are passed from the father to son only. Okay, because they are what? They are Y-linked. Okay, so if it's Y-linked, that means it can only be present on what? On the male. All right, so it's passed from father to the son. It cannot be passed to the daughter. You cannot pass Y-linked character to the daughter. Okay, so that is what Y-linked what character. Okay, an example of what a Y-linked character is one we call the hairy pinna. Okay, the hairy what pinna. Or that way you have what? You have hair on your ear, on your ear rim. Okay, when you have hair, H-A-I-R, when you have hair on your ear rim. Okay, so that is what hairy pinna. It can only be passed from the father to the son only. Those are examples of what? That's an example of what? Of Y-linked character, that the gene is present on the Y chromosome and it is passed from the father to the son only. Now, let me just give you a real life example. Okay, so a woman can have what? Can have what? Hemophilia. Okay, a woman or I can have what? Can be a carrier of what? Hemophilia. Okay, let's say that is what XH, then XH. Okay, so one is what normal, the other one is what has what the hemophilia. All right. So now the woman can be a carrier of what of hemophilia. Now, but it will not show. Hope you know. Okay, she's a carrier. Okay, so the symptom will not show because she has a normal gene that can what that can cover up, that can mask the effect of that one. All right, that can act as a backup. So the thing will not show directly, but she has it. All right. Now, if she has a son, if she has a son, okay, what will happen? There's a 50% chance. There's a 50% chance that the son will also have what hemophilia. Hemophilia, okay. There's almost what they say 50%, not even almost. There's a 50% probability, 50% chance that what that the son, okay, will also have what hemophilia. Why? Why would the son also have hemophilia? Okay, he will have hemophilia because the X chromosome, all right, that the son we have is coming from what? Is coming from the woman, all right? All right. So the X chromosome, the X from the XY, okay? The X chromosome is coming from what? From the woman. The Y chromosome will come from the father, all right? Y will come from the father. S will come from the mother. That's why it will form what? XX. It will form what? YX, okay? But if it is a girl, if it's a girl, we have what? XS, Abi? That means the S came, one S came from the father, one S came from the mother, isn't it? So that is that. All right. So now, therefore, if it's a boy, if she has a son, that's what I say. If she has a son, you have what XY what chromosome. All right. That means that what now? One, the X will be coming from the mother. All right. So there's a 50% chance that what that the son what we have what hemophilia. All right. So that is that what for that. So that's a real life example that are used for what for sex linked what characters. So we have established that X linked characters can be passed to both what males. You can pass it to both to both the males and what and the females. Okay, but the Y link can only be passed from what from the father to the son. Okay, to only the males. Y linked, okay, can only be passed to the males. X linked can be passed to both what the males and the females. And this helps to what explain why what some diseases affect males even more than what more than females. Okay, so that is what sex linked character. I'm sure you have grabbed what 18 or 2 from this class. Okay, so let us go to the schools app. We'll answer questions. Now you see that questions have become easy. You'll be the one to answer them. All right, so please you tell me the answer in the comment section. All right, so we have 1997, number 45. Number 45. I'm going to show you a few, then you go and search for the remaining questions. You answer them, okay? Now, this is which of the following characters is not sex-linked? You're saying that which of the following characters is not sex-linked, okay? A says river blindness, B says baldness, C says hemophilia, D says color blindness, okay? All right, so river blindness is what is transmitted by the black fly, okay? By the black fly. All right, so it is not what sex linked. Nothing concerns sex. Okay, so the baldness, hemophilia, color blindness, they're all sex linked. Okay, disorders. Now let us go. 2018, number 25 says in humans, sex is determined by A says 2 homologous chromosomes. All right, B says a dominant gene for maleness present in male. C says 2 similar sex chromosomes in the male and dissimilar in the female. This is the difference in the nature of the X and Y chromosomes in the male. Okay, so obviously that's what determines what sex. The difference is it an X or is it a Y? If it is X, that is what's released by the sperm. Okay, it will be what a girl. Which is Y, it will be a boy. All right, so the difference that leads to that. So correct answer is option D there. Okay, more questions. Sorry, I'm not supposed to give you the answer to that. I just felt I should. So, but this 2012. Number 42, it says, when a colorblind man marries a carrier woman, okay, the man is colorblind. Okay, he now marries what? A woman, okay, that is also colorblind. She's colorblind. She's a carrier. It's not showing, okay, but what? It's there, okay? It's on her chromosomes already, okay? So it's on the gene already, okay? She's a carrier of what? Of colorblind. So now, if you reason this very well, okay, you'll see that what? The man already is colorblind, isn't it? Okay, let us say the man is colorblind. XCY, okay, is colorblind, okay? Then the mother is a carrier, okay? So XXC. Okay, so this one is the normal gene. This one is what is the carrier gene. Okay, now the man, okay, has what has what it is what is colorblind, obviously. Okay, so it's present, like we told you, most sex-linked traits are X-linked. Okay, so that's why you are seeing this colorblind on the X. Okay, so the man, all right, is colorblind. Okay, the woman is a carrier, but she has what a normal gene also. All right, so it's possible. They say, what's the probability of their offspring being colorblind? Okay, so now it's possible that what this man will give what Y, okay, and not even this X. It's also possible that this woman will give what X to the offspring and not this one also. All right, so there are 4 possibilities. All right, so among all of these 4 possibilities, all right, that means what? Half, okay, 2/4, all right, of the time the child will not have it. It means that what? He said that this child has this one, or has this, or has this, or has this. 1, 2, 3, 4 possibilities. Okay, so if the offspring has this and this, it will be a boy that does not have colorblind. If the offspring have this and this, okay, this and this, that means the offspring will be a girl that will have it, definitely. All right, so there's always there's a 50% chance for the offspring to have colorblind. All right, so correct answer there will be option B. Let us see 2010, number 47. Okay, they says if both parents are heterozygous for a trait, the probability that an offspring will be recessive for that trait is A says 3/4, B says 1/2, C says 1/4, D says 1. Okay, tell me the answer in the comment section. 2003, this is the last one we are considering here on the board. Okay, you go and look for the other questions and answer them. They say a man and his wife are both heterozygous for sickle cell traits. Okay, SS. All right. Now, the likely percentage of their offspring that will be carriers or sicklers is A says 75%, B says 50%, C says 25%, D says 100%. Okay, so you can do that. Tell me the answer in the comment section. Now you will look for these years and answer them. Tell me the answers in the comment sections. Make sure you do them. Okay, just to cement your understanding about this topic. 2002, number 48. 2002, number 47, 2001, number 43, 1995, number 24, 1994, number 46. Okay, please do all of this and tell me the answers in the comment section. All right, my name is Master T. I am the Grand Commander of the O3 Schools Army. Thank you for joining us. All right, wish you all the best. Next class we'll look at the importance, okay, or the usefulness, all right, of heredity. Okay, I'll see you in the class.